Well, it's been nearly 2 years and 73,000 miles later, let's Steve, I'm still in love with the Ford Tourneo. Da 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 da! Ford Tourneo! Well, I am driving at the moment. Now I set a light so I can look at the camera. However, when I'm driving, I'm going to be looking straight ahead for legal reasons. I am a good boy. Anyway, so yeah, it's been almost 2 years. Well, it'll be 2 years in April 7th, I think I got it. 2015. The Ford Tourneo Custom Titanium Edition, but without the leather seats. It's the 2.2 litre 125 brake horsepower long wheelbase L2, I think it's called, Ford Tourneo with 8 passenger seats, 9 seats in total if you include my one. And well, yeah, it's been an amazing 2 years, I'll be completely honest. I absolutely adore it still. 72,000 miles. It's had 3 services, a minor service, 2 major services. They're supposed to be every 30,000 miles or 1 year, whatever comes first, but I'll still service it 2025, depending on how it's been going that particular year, or if I feel it needs it. 2 fuel filters later it's had. One was faulty, I believe that was an error that people were aware of with the Tourneo. I'm not 100% sure about that, to be honest with you. They'll be freezing up or whatever else, but the guys at the garage didn't seem to tell me exactly what was wrong with it, even though I asked. Very nice of them, thank you, People's Ford. Other than that, nothing else has gone wrong with this thing that's been caused mechanically. But there is one little niggle that I've got with the thing, one little niggle, and that is like it's only on cold mornings, despite me taking it in and asking them to do diagnostic on it, because as we know now, that's all you do. You just hook up to the computer says there's no errors, they didn't bother checking anything for some reason. It might not be all garages, but that's what most of them do. It's making them lazy, in my opinion. There are probably a lot of garages and other people out there who will actually do a diagnostic manually and try and figure out why particular things are happening, but because there is no error code logged with this error I'm getting. Now, I've tried to film it several times, and every time it's like it knows the camera's on it and it doesn't do it. But it's on cold mornings, cold starts, and if it's a particularly cold morning, I'll start it up and I'll drive, and then you're lucky if I get 100, 200 yards maybe, and it's always at the same particular part of my journey that happens. I'm going round a bend, I just dip the clutch, put the clutch right down, and then obviously the revs drop, and it's almost like it can't catch itself. It's like it's trying to catch its breath, and it's trying to catch that rev at like just over 1,000, and it just dies completely, it loses power. Now, I thought it was a fuel filter at first that was causing the problem. I really did. I thought the fuel filter maybe was blocked or was frozen, or there was an issue that I was unaware of, and it was just not getting enough fuel and it was causing it to cut out. And so much so that it cuts out, even though I've got the auto start stop enabled, it comes up manual restart required. So I have to turn the key off, turn the key back on, which has been very dangerous because I'm turning a bend, and when your engine cuts out, you lose everything. You lose power steering, you lose your ability to brake, everything just goes. So that to me is quite fucking dangerous. Excuse my language, but it really is. But there is no error code logged, so we can't see what's wrong with it. Fantastic. But other than that, anyway, that's a long story for that piece of shit anyway. Other than that, nah, I can't say I've had any major issues mechanically. That's the only issue that I've found that just kind of, what the fuck's it doing it for? It has had a couple of little accidents per se, but none of which have been me. Someone lovingly crashed into the back of it, and fucked off and didn't tell me, and I didn't notice it. I didn't get it long after I noticed it, but I noticed it. And then one of my drivers was driving it for me, and they took it into a bollard, which was really nice of it. Took the whole back wing off, that got repaired. What else has happened? Nothing else, but oh yes, a nice lovely drunk driver decided to drive drunk, and while my vehicle was parked up outside the house, just drove into the side of it. That was really nice of them, but the insurance sorted all that kind of thing, so no faults that I've caused. But yeah, other than that, drive's still smooth as ever. There's obviously a bit more knocking now, but I'm going to get that checked. I think that's just, I don't know if it's the bushes or what, I'm going to assume that's what it is, because it is just a knocking noise going over bumps. Still a smooth drive, so lovely like sounding engine and everything else, and still comfortable, so I'm totally 100% happy with it, and I'm glad I made the choice to take the Tourneo over things like the Transporter and the Vivaro or the Traffic, which are the same thing, or things like that. I think I like my Ford, so I think a Ford is just the way to go, and this is just beautiful and comfortable inside as well. But yeah, absolutely adore it. So I'm just taking it out for a wee drive just now and doing a wee video, sum up video on YouTube itself, just so we can see, or I can show you how it's looking after 2 years and everything as well. Hopefully it's going to work. I'll get some aerial footage of it when it's driving and things as well. I'm just going to do that in another video. I'm going to have somebody with me so they can film it for me as I'm going along. But yeah, this is my first attempt at this kind of video, and hopefully it'll give you a nice insight, or some lovely insights into how I find the vehicle and what I think of the vehicle and everything else. I'm going to pull over quickly here. It's a empty road, so I can talk to the camera without being really rude. And there's my auto start, stopped working perfectly fine. But yeah, it's been good. I mean, apart from, there's plenty of storage, but there's not a lot for all your things, like for them to be handy. It's hard to explain that. There's probably a few other things I can mention. I'd probably need to think about it properly, but this is just like a spontaneous, let's go for a wee drive and talk about how the Ford is after a couple of years. But yeah, anyway, it's been good, and I can't say anything bad about it whatsoever, and I'm just so happy with it. I think, yeah, I'd definitely buy another one if push came to shove and it was time to buy one. Couple of wee niggles I wanted to point out just afterwards. Obviously, the couple of little things that have bugged, I've noticed that have been mentioned to me before I bought it, and I'll be honest, I got about a year and a bit before I started noticing one of the major problems with the Tourneo. I know I said there was only a couple of wee things that went wrong, but those are things that went wrong. These are things that are problems, like it's just literally issues with the design or the way it is. But one of the major ones, one of the biggest pet peeves, is because this is a taxi, naturally the doors are open and closed all the time, especially the passenger side, the near side sliding door, because that's where the only movable chair is, as I said in my previous video. With people getting in and out, because the step is so small, it's causes problems where people are kind of sliding their heels down the side of the door and catching the rubber seal, and when they're catching it, they're pulling it off the little plastic clips, and then the rubber's just kind of hanging there, and it just kind of hangs out the door. That's a major thing. Is that I find myself, it took about a year before it actually started happening, but now the rubber's loosened off, and naturally it's rubber's like it's always going to be like that now, so unless you replace the seal, you're going to have to deal with a bit loose rubber. No dirty things there at all, but even when you clip it back on, I mean, I've not replaced the clips yet, but you can see a couple of the clips have actually disappeared as well. It's a bit irritating, to be honest, having to keep fixing it all the time, and it's all it takes. You can't blame people for doing it. It's the steps that small, they're trying to find it with their feet, so that's one little thing as well. It was also mentioned that the hinges on the doors are not strong enough for the weight of the door. But you can feel when you open and close the door, it's blatantly obvious. You can feel how heavy the door is, and you're like, it doesn't feel very strong at all. And the latch, what is it called? The metal latch between the door and the body. It's like I can't remember what the hell it's called, the lace or whatever it is. That is too long, so that enables the door to swing way far open. And the problem with that is, whether it be a gust of wind, someone just overly pulling, overly pushing the door, just enough force causes the door to bend.
and then obviously goes too far, and then it crimples the arch, it scratches the arch, and it sometimes bends it completely. I believe Ford have acknowledged this as a warranty issue, so it's obviously it's happened to me. Nearly 2 years I went without it happening, and I just opened that driver's door and it just went too far, and then I couldn't close my door. You'll see the video itself. You can see me opening and closing it. It's the way it is just now. This only happened on about a week ago. So it's fresh. I have been to Ford. They've taken pictures. They're sending it off to the head office or whatever, where they then assess it and decide whether or not it's a warranty issue, and then they get me in and they replace the door. They make the hinge is slightly bigger, the lace is slightly smaller. They address the issue. They've addressed the issue, obviously, but that's still to be done. You can see that there as well, but that's only if you're like nearly a year and a half I went without that happening, so I'm considering that a win. I've had a couple of recalls on it as well. Just I remember that oil filler cap, I think it was. They weren't proper. They weren't sitting right or something. But yep. So anyway, guys, what I'll do is I'm going to jump off just now. But if there's anything you'd like to know or any other questions, I mean, people have been asking questions in my previous video about it and everything, and I do answer them as much as I can when YouTube notifies me that people are commenting on it. So just be patient and just send me a comment if you've got another comment there. If there's anything you want to see about the vehicle or anything else you want to know, just ask, and if I can do it, I'll do it. But yeah, got to jump off just now, and hopefully I'll get some more footage and everything up for you. Cheers, guys.